Well. Mazi Smith. Mazi Smith continues to be the subject of a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans, content creators, and media members. And I said it last week. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. People can tell me anything they want to, talking about we just want to get some depth or, a rotational piece or whatever the case people are saying. But the reality is a lot of people are not sure about Mazi Smith. We understand in his first season, Dan Quinn wanted him to lose weight. Mike Zimmer came back, and then Mike Zimmer wanted him to gain the weight back. And so the questions are still out there about what in the world is Mazi Smith? And as I'm thinking about all this, it made me go back and do a little bit of research. Because I know something about these Dallas Cowboys. It's our team. I love them. But sometimes they try to be the smartest people in the room. And I just wondered, are the Cowboys wrong about Mazi Smith? Let's talk, Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video, please don't forget at the end to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber already, please do. We have a lot of great things coming in the future. Now let's talk facts. Mazi Smith. The question is still Mazi Smith in year 3. And with everything the Cowboys have done in free agency, everything the Cowboys have done in the draft, and now with the George Pickens trade and some of the other trades they made, everyone is wondering, but what about Mazi Smith? Now, some of us are disguising this, and we're not saying Mazi Smith. We're just running around hollering one tech. But the reality is, we're hollering one tech because people are not sure that Mazi is going to step up to the plate and be the one tech that the Cowboys projected him to be. And so what we're going to talk about in this video, we're going to listen to Nick Harris. He's going to give us some notes from OTAs. And I know it's OTAs. But again, I think he gives us some good insight on one Mazi Smith. But I also want to go back and I'm going to look at Mazi Smith's draft profile. Because it got me wondering with all of this hoopla about Mazi Smith. It got me wondering, well, what was his draft report? Has his draft report been right up until this point? Or has he surpassed it, or has he improved? What's the case? Well, we're going to look at his draft report, and again, we're going to listen to Nick Harris, and then I think we're going to come to a conclusion, or we may be able to come to some of the conclusion about one Mazi Smith. Check this out. Now, when we look at Mazi Smith's draft profile, I think there may be a few things that stand out. It says his player rating is 87.0, position rank number 8, 4.85 40 time. And what I'm looking for here is when you start looking at all of his measurables and things of that nature, for the most part, it looks pretty average when you look at these scores from 0 to 100%. His bench and his weight for some reason were exceptional. But everything else, average to a little bit above average. And as we're looking at him, it talked about the average rating of opposition he faced, about 81%. But this is the part that I'm looking at. It says his draft projection was an early second round. Early second round. This is NFL Draft Buzz. So when you look at his draft profile, it says clearly early second round. And where are you talking about early? I would take that to be somewhere between maybe 1 and 12. Where did the Cowboys draft Mazi Smith? Let's check it out.
With the 26th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Mazi Smith, defensive tackle, Michigan.
That was Mazi Smith. Rather than the Cowboys getting him in the early second round, the Cowboys got him with the 26th overall pick. And some people say that once you get past 20, that is the second round. But I'm just saying, he was the 26th overall pick. And you can hear their description of Mazi Smith, all the things that they were saying he was going to be able to do. And what they said about Oso Digizua is pretty much true. He's proven it, that he's an up-the-field defensive tackle. But what has not rang true as of yet is Mazi Smith being the anchor of the line. And again, Dan Quinn, the way he likes his defensive line to be, he had Mazi Smith to lose weight, and I don't think that helped him out any. Then he got under Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer let him gain the weight back, or had him to gain the weight back, and we saw some flashes, but he's still not what we think he should be yet, I guess. And so again, I'm just wondering, were the Cowboys wrong with Mazi Smith, or does he need some more time to develop? Because I want you to look at him on NFL Draft Buzz. When we start looking again at what his strengths and weaknesses are, you look at the scouting report saying things like massive, lane-clogging lineman, crazy athletic skills, big enough to play and hold well on the nose, provide some secondary interior pass rush. We see all of these different things. But when we get to his weaknesses, this may be the part that the Dallas Cowboys thought they were going to be able to overcome and have not been able to overcome as of yet. Now, there's a hope. It's hopeful that he makes that step in the third season. But again, look at this. He's a bit stiff. Lacks the flexibility to truly threaten around the edge. Not worried about that as much. Smith sometimes fails to locate the ball in the run game. Too often taking himself out of plays. Despite having impressive speed, Smith lacks the elite suddenness as a mover you look for, and doesn't do enough in the pass rush when working one-on-one. If his first move doesn't work, Smith all too often doesn't seem to possess a backup plan, and the result looks uncoordinated. Shows a lack of quickness getting his hands high, leaving blockers time to get under his pads. His lack of height forces him to play a little upright, allowing blockers to win the leverage game. Possible discipline red flag. And we're not worried about that. Mazi has been he's been a model citizen. But at the end of the day, it seems to me that Mazi has been pretty much what his scouting profile is. And I've mentioned already the circumstances, so I'm not going to eliminate those. But when you look at his scouting report, we're having some of those issues that were mentioned in the scouting report. And again, let's listen to Nick Harris as he's talking in OTAs.
And better pitching every year. It feels like Cowboys fans for a long time have been like, give me the inside DTs. Come on.
Yeah, and I think Cowboys fans would love to have the Rangers pitching luck right about now. Hopefully it would come with everything else involved. But with the Cowboys defensive tackle situation, I don't have a lot of confidence there right now. I don't. And I think that when you look at defensive tackles and corners, those are the two position groups I'm looking at like, things are going to get dicey unless they add a veteran here, or, unless a guy really steps forward in training camp / preseason. Mazi Smith, I think Mazi Smith is what he is at this point. And I think going into year 3, I think there is a certain level of expectation that you can pull from him and be like, okay, hey, he can work in these situations. He's at least a guy that's worthy of being on the field. I just don't know if he's going to be that 17-game starter for you. Is that Jay Toya out of Houston?
See, we're saying the quiet parts out loud. Nick Harris is saying a little bit of the quiet parts out loud. I've already said it. The quiet part that no one is talking about is I don't think people have the confidence in him that they say they do. And Nick Harris is already saying that there's almost a concession of he is what he is, this is what he can do, but not maybe necessarily a 17-game starter. So that means that if the Cowboys go and try to solve the problem as it applies to Mazi Smith, and he's already saying that Jay Toya is not the answer, so that means it's not just about getting a veteran defensive tackle. No, we're talking about the Cowboys need an actual starting defensive tackle. They need a starting level defensive tackle, and I think that may be DJ Reader. We'll see what happens after post-June 1st. Let's let Nick finish.
UCLA, he's really stepped forward and proved that he's more valuable than a 7th-round pick. There were some draft experts that had a 4th-round grade on him going into the process, or going into draft weekend, rather. So maybe he performs more to that level, and I think that would probably give him more of an edge and winning a potential starting battle. But at the end of the day, you're relying on two guys that you still have questions about. I think they need to add a veteran or two to that room. You have Solomon Thomas. Can't he slide over at that 1 tech spot and work? I don't know. I don't think I have a confidence in that. if it were me, I would go out and get a veteran one tech and hope that can help solve some of your issues.
I think
people don't have the confidence that Jay Toya can be a quality rotation piece. And again, he's a rookie. I mean, it's totally understandable. It does seem to take these linemen, unless they're just the freak athlete types, it does seem to take them about at least 2 to 3 years to really get their feet up under them, get their balance and really get, a hold of this game to really be what they're supposed to be. So Jay Toya, I mean, it's understandable that people are not expecting him to come in and be that rotation piece. But again, I think for people wanting there to be, because we're not really talking about a rotational piece, people. We're talking about another starting defensive tackle. That's the reality of what we're talking about. We're not talking about something regular. We're talking about a whole nother defensive tackle. Let's just be 100% real. So the question I have for us and everyone else is, were the Cowboys wrong about Mazi Smith? I mean, this is year 3. So we're going to take the chance, or are we going to take the chance and see if the Cowboys are going to take the chance and see if they were wrong? Or are they going to bring in some insurance? And then I wonder if bringing in some insurance, I wonder if it does even more to maybe even mess with the confidence of one Mazi Smith. I know this, the Cowboys need him to take some big steps this year. They really do. If they really have championship aspirations, he has got to make some big steps. I do think he's going to take another step. But the question is, how big will it be? Third year's a charm, some people say. But again, how big will that step be when it comes to Mazi Smith? Y'all tell me what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. BC4L. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.